Earlier today, we spoke to the partner of the two children's mother. Here's some of what he had to say about Jack and Lily.
Awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They're just looking to have as much fun as they can. Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister.
He says he's also hoping police monitor the New Brunswick border and the airports for any sign of the two children. But RCMP tell us this afternoon they're not considering any possible abduction here. As far as they're concerned, they're looking for two young children who simply wandered away.
I know that there's a lot of people pulling for these kids to come home.
Disturbing new details about the two siblings missing from Nova Scotia are being realized today. The Nova Scotia siblings, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, disappeared on May 2nd around 10 a.m. in the morning. And since then, a lot of people have speculated wildly, and some, in my opinion, are on target. We learned that there may have been a house party at their house in or around the time the kids disappeared. This changes what direction this case goes. The mounted police in Canada also stated that they have 35 individuals that they have identified for formal interview. And now these messages are becoming well known. And now we're starting to see the substances inside the home. Check it out. We're going to have a lot more to say about these text messages that are now making their rounds on social media. We've got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned to the Bullhorn Betty channel. And do me a favor, don't forget to heart this video. God bless you.
Well, good afternoon, my beautiful folks. It's nice to see you this afternoon. So, we have some updates. The judge does want the deposition on Friday, so I am leaving tomorrow for Illinois. And obviously, we're going to have some traveling, so we will be doing a live probably from the airport. We'll probably do another live when the Eagle has landed, as always, to let you guys know that I'm going to be safe. I'll let you know how the deposition goes, and then we'll be back here bright and early Saturday. Delilah is going to, I don't know, my best friend's house, maybe Mama's house. We'll see where Delilah's going for a couple nights. But that's where we're at. It was a long shot. We went before the judge. I let the judge hear my arguments. And, as expected, he wants to move forward with the deposition. But my concerns about a second deposition were noted. And, that's all we can do at this point. So unless there is good cause shown, they cannot request a second deposition. So those have all been resolved. I think it's going to be a good day. We'll get this stuff out of the way. They get to talk to me for 3 hours and we'll be done with this. And back to Florida we come. Back to Florida we come. So that's where we are at. The good news is we are going to be in we're going to be in Chicago, right? And we're going to have some time on our hands. So guess what? We're going to get out. We're going to explore the Chicago area. I may or may not go live out in Chicago. We know how crazy people are this day and age, but that's okay. I've got some extended family in Chicago. It'll be all right. We'll be all right. And we'll get in there and we'll just get this thing done and over with. And then we're moving on. And they've got a lot of discovery stuff that needs to be done. I've got crap that needs to go out in the mail. So I'm probably going to have to do that first thing in the morning. So you guys might ride with me. I might have to take you guys with me tomorrow morning, wherever we go. And we're just going to have a discussion on the go. That's kind of where we're at this point. So, and I got all one, nonstop. So I'm not going to be in the layovers. I don't do layovers. I'm not unless I'm going literally halfway across the country. Do not present to me anything with other than nonstop. Okay. I do not travel on stops. Okay. Bullhorn Betty is nonstop. Okay. I expect my planes to be the exact same way as me. Okay. You guys get it? Melanie, it's nice to see you. Whispering Winds. Hey, hey, hey. The real me too. Denise, it's nice to see you. Cheryl Ann. Kelly, football mom. Panda Bears mom. Patty, hey, hey, hey. Deanna, Erna, it's nice to see you. Linda, Sonia, Kathleen, good afternoon. Detective Whispers, Robert, I pray for these. I know. This story it's just bothersome, but we know what we know when we know what we know, okay? And the bottom line is we've seen enough deception from the people that should not be deceptive at times where they should not be deceptive. And information is slowly but surely coming out, leak or otherwise, and it's painting a terrible picture for Malehya. We know why Malehya ran away. I would have run away too. What an embarrassment. And what a POS for a mother. Do I think she deserves to have Meadow? Hell to the nah. Take Meadow, put Meadow in a family member's household custody and control that will actually show that child love without giving her or letting her ingest toxic chemicals like meth. And I think if anybody from Canada is here or anybody has any input with the Canadian, take Meadow's hair follicles. I just read a story today about a family in Arkansas. The grandparents, all of them are mathed out, Mary Janed out, and amphibianed out. There we go, amphibianed out. There we go. We can get it. And the children had dangerous levels from being around the use of it. They may have actually ingested it because they don't clean up after themselves. And so those kids were taken from the custody of the parents. There are 3 people, 3 adults, the mom and the grandparents are all behind bars, $75,000 bonds for each and every one of them. Kids are now safe in the custody of the state of Arkansas. So, I want to know, we don't have Lily or Jack's hair to check, but we do have Meadow. And it would be my suggestion that Canada do a hair follicle test on her to find out what truly was going on inside that home. If they have her in their custody, it's nothing more, doesn't even hurt the child, right? They could probably get a hair follicle right from the hairbrush that they brush her hair with. No pain whatsoever, and what a difference it would make. And I think it would hold a lot of evidentiary value to boot. Cheryl Ann, it's nice to see you. Panda Bear's mom, hey, hey, hey. Deanna, may have already said hi to some of you. Sabrina, Patty, Paula, it's nice to see you. Chaos, West Virginia, holla girl, holla back, y'all. Salty Ma'am is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Whispering Winds, Denise. Hello, hello. I watched earlier video. Grandma isn't telling everything she knows. Sure is not. Nope, surely is not. We also got It's a Shaming Crime up as well, because she did some, her and Belinda appear, at least from my purview, which is kind of weird because, Belinda is kind of more Malehya's side of the family, even though not directly related. It's more the child's father's side of the family. But hey, 4 flying doves. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Good afternoon, Peggy. It's nice to see you. Sunny has a really good connection, it seems, with Belinda. And that's good. I like Belinda. I like Belinda for a variety of reasons. One is Belinda has, she has, in my opinion, she's really the only one that's fighting for the kids, right? She's the children's father's mother. As you guys know, the biological father kind of walked away from the children when Malehya wanted to end their relationship and leave. And he wanted no more part of it. And she wanted full custody of the kids. She got full custody of the kids. The father walked away. Whatever we can say whatever we want. He never denied it. The family owned the situation. So, as terrible as it is what it is. Okay. The father had nothing to do with their upbringing. The father has nothing in their life. The father threw his hands up and walked away. He's not going to come back now and try to get the kids. He's walked away. Maybe when he gets a little older and he realizes truly what he left behind, maybe he will, seek to have custody of them at that point. Hey, Lisa, it's nice to see you. The Krama Reels, it's nice to see you. Hartley, I don't think you should be here. Unless you're being nice. There is somebody that doesn't like me named Hartley. So if that's you, whatever. But have a great day. Long story short is she also had a decent connection, which is odd, with Logan McKenzie. And if you guys know, Logan is Daniel's father, right? So, Logan's Daniel's father. Daniel's cousin. I'm sorry. Daniel's cousin. Logan's Daniel's cousin. And she and Cheryl, as well as Haley, which is the half-sister to Malehya. They kind of seem like Cheryl, Malehya, half-sis, kind of gal palin it. And then you had Logan, Janie, Mackenzie, and Daniel kind of gal palin it with him. And then you kind of have Belinda Gray, which is kind of stuck in the middle. She doesn't really know what to do. She hasn't seen the children in a significant amount of time. She's always wanted to be a grandma to those children. She is very, she obviously hurts over the relationship with her son and Malehya not working out and those kids being caught in the middle. But, at the end of the day, what does she do? She did the best she could when she found out they were missing. She jumped into action. She still wanted to be there. She still wanted to be. I am absolutely certain when this case broke and those kids were missing, nobody in their wildest dreams would honestly think any foul play was involved in this at the onset. Granted, we judge them based on the appearance of their home. Appearance of homes can be deceiving, especially out in the country and in desolate areas, because the area is desolate. There's not a whole lot you can do. It's called sprawling. Look it up, okay? You don't have the same amenities that you do in town, right? You have to be on well water, do you have enough electric? You don't have very good cell service out there or telephone service. Power can be knocked out with the blow of a wind, it's just a lot, just a lot that can happen. And it's hard because you're not going to really build your dream home out in some place where you can't even get internet service. So a lot of people, and not only that, it's more affordable and you get larger acreage out in, kind of in the sticks, so to speak. And that's where they are. But for the most part, the area that the children, I've looked at it, I've analyzed it, I'm a fair person here. The areas that I saw that the children were playing in were not junky and did not appear to have the hazards. I saw debris on the outside of the fence and the dirt, in and around the property. I did see that, so I get that. But the actual area that even the day that these children were reported missing, and we've got those aerial views on top of that property, we don't see it littered with stuff like they ran around and cleaned it up. Now they could have, because one of my theories is the children disappeared the either late evening or early morning, long before that they were called into school, but they were seen on Thursday. The RCMP confirms they were seen in the afternoon of Thursday. So I literally believe from the afternoon of Thursday to that call to the school, something happened to them in that time frame. And I don't know what that something is, but it could have been more abuse. Think about it. What if you've got Lily, a little girl, a 6-year-old girl that's sporting a black eye. And it, to me, doesn't sound like it's the first time. It sounds like both of these kids sported black eyes. I can tell you, I was a little bouncing jelly bean full of freaking energy and coffee. And my mama had to do, this is a true story. We were so full of energy, my mama just had to let us run. She couldn't take us anymore. She just had to let us run around the house, and she'd go collect us in the hallway when we finally fell over and passed out. Okay? High energy. My sister and I were high energy toddlers. So I have to sit here and think, this child's already sporting the black eye. What if that high energy, I have to think Patty's is not really the place that they wash clothes. Okay. I'm starting to feel like Patty's is their dungeon, so to speak. I don't know why I feel that with Patty, but I think it's because they were out there at till 10 o'clock at night. And, even according to Janie's statement, now we have to question her statement because I do feel she's been deceptive. And so now we have to question everything that comes out of her mouth because I feel she's been deceptive. I can point to critical things that she said made this statement and inconsistent in this statement. We've heard enough statements from her that we are hearing some inconsistencies, some things that defy logic, like how everybody is standing right in the same spot that a boot just magically appears, but no other footprints or shoe prints are around this boot. It's a lone boot in the mud, right where Janie was raking, right where Daniel and Malehya were standing and talking to her, telling her the kids were had been missing for 20 minutes. I mean, come on here. No other footprints, just one lone boot. But hey, it's nothing. It's not staging, and we're not even going to get into the pink blanket. The pink blanket we're going to just deal with another day. That we're going to deal with in and of itself. But in this kind of complex relationship, it looks like Sonny has at least a good contact in Logan McKenzie, Daniel's cousin, and Belinda, which is the paternal grandparent to Lilly and Jack. It's her son is their biological father. So she's really upset, and she went on, people were like, I'm sure Belinda would thank you. And it obviously rubbed Belinda the wrong way a little bit because these are her grandchildren that she was robbed. Okay. Any grandparent out here that has a grandchild and you are unable to see that grandchild because of your child's ex-spouse or your problems with your own child, it is very, very heartbreaking. Every holiday, every birthday, you're there alone thinking of that child that you do not get to see. You're robbed of that time with your grandchild. And Belinda, we have to look at it from a real grandmother's perspective because she is a real grandmother. Those children did live with her when they were born. She did see them every day or every other day or a few times a week. When they were born, she was in their life. She was present. And then Malehya met Daniel and cut off all communication and ties with a grandmother that loved her grandchildren. And then she wakes up one day, a year and a half later, 2 years later, and finds out she's never going to have an opportunity to have that relationship with them ever in the future. She was robbed. And she is hurting because of it. And as she says, she is not going to thank Janie. She's honest and says, I'm pretty sure her world is turning upside down. And I'm sure it is. And I've said on this platform, I don't believe she was personally involved in whatever happened to those children. But I do believe she knows something more than she's saying. And I truly do not believe she heard those kids that morning. I really don't. And I really don't believe she was preparing that area where that boot print was found for a pool. It's not conducive for an above ground pool. Entirely too many rocks, entirely too many things that can pierce the bottom of that pool. However, inside the fence, where they have nice green patches of grass, is a perfectly leveled area and perfect for an above ground pool. So again, anybody with common sense would know that. So now I have to revert back to, and this is what made me think of it, because the deception detective, I'm sure if you guys have been watching me, I'm sure you guys have already watched his analysis because I've asked you to, because you guys know we're discussing it. And not only that, but there's nothing better than getting it directly from the deception detective and what he believes. But he made it. He's like, you know what? This could be a hoax. And he pointed it out, and he says, and I don't use those words. That's the deception detective words. All I can say to you guys when I'm live is, boy, there seems like a lot of activity in this one place that a boot print, found, right? So that's how I present it. But the deception detective presents it more formally and properly, right? He's like, well, it looks like this might be a hoax. Well, why? Well, because she's already over explaining this area, this one area where this boot print just magically appeared, right? It just magically appeared. But everybody was stepping all over it after she packed it down. So where are all those prints? And deception detective brought it up, and he said something to the effect of, let me think about what he had said about that. He says, I think he was bringing up the hoax aspect of it. If I'm not mistaken, that's when he was introducing the hoax aspect of it, because he's like, she needed to make sure that they knew that area had just been packed down. No prints were in that area, right? They had to make sure that was impressed upon law enforcement. And that's when I started thinking, more outside of the box about, this whole boot print. And then I start looking at it a little further, and I'm like, wait a minute. She packed it the night before. She says she wanted to level it the night before. I don't see any leveling prints in that. But again, this is, 2 months later. So would there be? I don't know. I think we're going to have to go back to some of those initial footage and look at that driveway to see if we have any impressions of packing. Okay. You have impressions. I have done every stage of construction work imaginable. Okay. Literally every stage, from roofs to the only thing, masonry, I've never tried. So block homes, nope. Doing wood frames, yep, sure have. So every facet of construction, including decks and other things where ground needs to be level and ground needs to be packed. I've personally had personal experience in these areas. When I come to you and I tell you that that's not an area I would set up a pool, it's because I have experience setting up above ground pools, and I know what area works and what area doesn't. Why? Because I pierced the bottom of my pool before. The one that flipped up on my roof was just my last above ground pool, but by far not my first above ground pool. Just saying. So now we're starting to see the threads where these things just don't logically, when you break them down and you start discussing them bit by bit, they don't logically make sense. And they don't. So we have all these people standing in an area where a boot print was found, but the boot print was the perfect print. No other footprint was seen in that area, according to them. Just one lone boot print. This is something that Janie had already walked over, Malehya had already walked over, Daniel had already walked over. Were they jumping over the boot print when they saw it to make sure they didn't affect that critical evidence? Or was it not there and just happened to get there prior to the call to law enforcement? And let's not forget the boot print up there near the pipeline. What about the boot print by the pipeline? One of Janie's statements of that morning was where they picked up Daniel. Her and her son ended up going up there and picking up Daniel by the pipeline. And then comes May 3rd and the pink blanket. How did this pink blanket, how did a torn, this piece looks like about this big. How did a torn piece of this blanket that was sealed in a garbage can on the property of Lilly and Jack, Daniel and Malehya, how did that piece of blanket get a mile down the road and stuck shoulder height in a tree? There's something with that as well. And it could go both ways, to staging or somebody being carried about shoulder height and something snagging the blanket that they're in. There are so many false things and angels, and angles, no one knows what's going on. I know. And it's sad. It's sad because we want as much information. I don't think unless you're a hate channel, I don't think anybody intentionally comes to spread misinformation. Now, Darren, he had a dog in the fight. This is his family. That is his niece, from what I'm understanding. And, whether he's intentionally running interference or just believing maybe what somebody's telling him is true and really running with that because he knows the person may or may not hurt the children, right? I don't know what to make of it. And Maura is absolutely accurate. There are so many false things. Swimming out here in the sea of social media is very, very difficult. Even some of the stuff that you guys send me, I have to look at it. I have to do major research and then realize it's bunk information. I still don't want you guys not sending it if you don't know. I'd rather look into something than not have the information. But that is, social media, I think, has always been this double-edged sword, right? It has always been this double-edged sword. When it's done well, it's an amazing resource. But sometimes you just got people that just want to cause the drama, that thrive off of negative attention. They thrive off of negative attention. We thrive off of positive attention and action. So there's just differences. Don makes sense, Betty. D and M together. Jay did not hear the kids. Hold on. Did not hear the kids, or she did, and they were not telling the correct timeline. Yes, if Jack and Lily were walking on their own, in my opinion, can't see evidence. Well, I just find it funny. One boot print, and then there was one boot found under their couch, like somebody was trying to hide the boot, like an idiot, strung out on math. I think we're on to something with Daniel and Malehya, but I think we're off base on the reasoning. So I think, what do I mean by that? I think that everybody is focused on maybe the substances and maybe not focused as much on the abuse aspect of it. And something may have happened to one of the kids that the other child witnessed. But whatever happens, it seems to me that Malehya was entirely too calm that morning after her children went missing. According to Janie's own statement, she's standing there with Meadow on the hip and says the kids are missing. Well, for how long? About 20 minutes. She didn't ever reference in any of her statements. She said it as cavalier as that every single time. And that makes me feel like Malehya did not have urgency or concern that morning. And that to me is a red flag. It's also an equal red flag when a mother disappears from a major search effort for her missing children and never returns to the scene again. That tells me something terrible happened there. Something terrible happened there and she cannot face it. She slept there the night before and she did not want to do that again. Something bad happened to those children. And something bad happened to those children, I believe, either on that property. I want to say, or they disappeared from Patty's, but RCMP said they were on film on Thursday. I just don't know if they physically saw them, because we're hearing reports that they were not seen inside of a mall. Apparently, they went to a mall. Other people were also saying that Daniel went into town to get supplies for the fence. That's a lie too. Because even in Janie's own statement, in one of her interviews, she sits there and states that they went, Thursday they went to Patty's to wash clothes. He came back at 10. She opened him up, said, "You're getting back late, aren't you? Kind of late, aren't you?" And he said, "I'd have been back earlier." And then the next day they didn't call. They called the kids into to school sick. Why? Because Lily had just sustained a black eye the night before, allegedly over at Patty's. Who gave her the black eye? Well, according to Daniel's text statement, we got him writing the statement from his account, saying that it was a Tonka truck that she was playing with on the ground, and it popped up and hit her in the face and gave her a black eye. So she had a black eye Wednesday night. She did not have a black eye on Monday when they went to school, or Tuesday. I think Wednesday was a day off or something. I think they only went to school like one day that week or 2 days that week. I can't remember. I know Wednesday was a teacher's day. Thursday they were supposed to be back and was called in sick. Friday was called in sick and reported 2 hours or 4 hours later from when they called him in sick, they reported the kids missing. 4 hours from the time they reported the children sick, they called them in missing. 4 hours. 4 hours. They had hours, not minutes. What did Daniel and Malehya do? And Malehya's too much of a POS to even face the music, talk about her children, or even acknowledge that they were even existing. And her family and friends are just sitting right on by, patting her back and saying, "It's okay." No, it's not. Quit enabling her. She did something terrible to her children. If you don't believe it, we can acknowledge that there were substances in the house. Should they have been around that? Absolutely not. Should she have known better? Absolutely. Should she have gotten those children out of the house? She should have. Was she able to leave? Yes, she was. Did she have her own transportation? Yes, she did. Yet she allowed those children to be subjected to black eyes and other types of neglect and abuse while in that home. And that's what the record is reflecting. So while everybody's looking at this substance abuse red herring, I think it's a little more violent up in that house than anybody, including Janie, would like to say. And this is the reason why I say it, is because there was a statement Janie made talking about Malehya leaving. How she got her own car in April. She would have stood up for her to leave Daniel and tell Daniel, "Let her go." I have never heard a parent speak like that about their child unless they know their child is controlling and abusive. Because most parents would say she could have gone. What was going to stop her? My son's not abusive. My son's not controlling. Would it have hurt him? Of course. But would he have stopped her? No. That would have been the answer that we are looking for. But instead, she said, I would have stood up with her against Daniel to let her go. That was a pretty powerful statement. To me, it showed the level of control inside that home and the knowledge that Janie had thereof. So now we have a situation where I don't think Janie is involved, but I know she knows. She may not know exactly what happened, but I think she knows more, and I think she knows these children are deceased, and I think she's terrified for her son. And the only time you ever see her get emotional is when Daniel is involved or she's questioned about Daniel's involvement. From DeWebb, we're recommending installing either a concrete or gravel foundation combined with a pool pad for above ground pool bays from professional above. Yeah. And that's typically what they do. But I don't do, you can do the concrete The gravel, that's not gravel, Frounday. That's rocks. Those rocks were this big. I have never, the only time I've ever put my my pool was in a ground out back here, which had those very rocks. And I ended up, when I busted the bottom of the pool, or when we started seeing the grass growing into the bottom of the pool, we realized that we punctured the pool, and the next pool we moved it. So I'm telling you, that ground that we were seeing, that really, really hard ground with all those rocks on it, you're going to puncture the bottom of your pool. And do you know how heavy water is? I know you float in water, so you don't really think about how heavy water is, but water is pretty heavy. Go grab a 5-gallon, jug. Heck, go grab a couple, single-gallon jugs. Tell me that doesn't get weight. So you have something that's like this, and you're putting something on it like this, and you're putting, hundreds to thousands of pounds of weight from water on that. It's going to puncture the bottom of that pool. And that barrier that they give you is no thicker than a tarp. And then the bottom of your pool, like, they have that thick vinyl, and it usually has like wire threads. You may not realize that in the bands that go around, but underneath the bottom of the pool is actually almost made from that same material, that tarp like material. That's all that keeps the water in the pool. And it makes sense because, when you're making a redneck pool, what do? You take a tarp and you throw it in the back of a truck bed and you fill it up with water. Same concept, except they give you, the metal framing so it doesn't collapse. Kind of like a back of a truck, a pickup truck, right? So I just don't know. I don't know how to take her story. I just don't believe her story. I think that's really it. I don't believe her story. I believe a lot of her story. Don't misunderstand me. I don't think she's lying about every single thing. I think she's lying about the things that implicate her son. And I think the situation scares her as a mother. Whether she's provided, Drippy, it's nice to see you. Check the redneck pool at the music. I made a redneck pool at the music festival. There you go. You know what I'm talking about. So I just don't, just me personally. Now, was she going to put a pool there? Was she not going to put a pool there? I don't know that either. But what I can tell you is I've never seen anybody prepare an area, level an area, without actually having the physical pool to put up once they finished leveling the area. I saw no boxes for an above-ground pool. Did anybody see an above-ground pool there? I saw no indication whatsoever about putting up a pool. I'm interested in finding out if her search history, they should have access through subpoenas and other warrants to get her search history. Was she searching for the type of pool to purchase? Many people that shop online, which you guys know she shops online. She talked about Temu. She talked about being on Facebook. So clearly she knows how to do it. Would that be in her research, her history, that she's searching for pools and making sure she understands where to install it and leveling the ground and the proper position to put a pool? Because you never want to put a pool under trees. Why? Because all those leaves and everything go directly into that pool. And then when they stay on the bottom, they get a film. And then next thing you know, you get a green bottom because you have all that organic stuff piling up on the bottom of your pool. There's a lot of things here. We analyze every aspect of this case down to every single letter of every single word that is spoken from every single person that has firsthand knowledge. And unfortunately, Janie is not getting raving reviews. She's not getting horrible reviews, but she's not getting raving reviews. We're not thanking her for her time. We're not thanking her for that because she didn't provide anything, and she's being deceptive. And she knows she's being deceptive. And that is exactly why I believe Belinda just doesn't like her, because she could finish this. She could end this charade, hold her son and Malehya both accountable. We both know that they had their hands in part. We don't know to what extent. Law enforcement has told us these children are not alive. So you've got two deceased children that disappeared at the same time, which defies logic, by the way. A mother that runs away and a grandmother that's living on the grounds being deceptive. Never mind the stepfather's behavior. It's starting to create a very crystal clear picture of what's going on. Then you go over to Sunny at the Criming Shame, and she's got some of these text messages. And these text messages don't make us feel any better. And then when you go on Facebook, we have a Facebook that has, somebody has collected multiple of these. Maybe it's this one, hopefully. Yes. All of these text messages that Daniel has written. So we're going to go over those right now. I'm going to put them up on the big screen, right like that. And I think that this is going to be interesting because I think we need to go through these one by one and read them. Read them. Just read them all. Nothing to hide over here, guys. If it's getting pixely, I'm sorry, but my bandwidth just dropped. Again, we are going to be getting new streaming service here real soon. Hopefully it works a lot better. If I got to build a whole entire show or a whole entire platform on OBS, I will do it. I think your opinions are limited on your perspective. The polygraph exam was administered by a major crimes officer that has been doing it for almost 20 years. I completed 3 exams over a 3-hour span. I also analyzed the documentation. Oops, sorry, I meant to go down. The documentation. So that must be all of it because it's not letting me go any further. Then the next one says, here it is, documentation after the final polygraph graph exams. So to say I cheated or major crimes faked anything is simply ridiculous. That's what Daniel Martell says. He goes on to say major crimes only urges me not to engage with questions containing evidence. There's a mountain of evidence not displayed online that only me and major crimes knows. That sounds so much like Christopher Proudfoot. It's not even funny. That's why many questions I don't answer because it leads down a rabbit hole of speculation. Again, Daniel and hashtag Chris Proudfoot could be twins. I believe they are alive. Of course. Everybody else knows the statistics. Law enforcement has stated that they do not believe these children are alive. I trust law enforcement in this respect. I believe they are alive, hence the $150,000 reward in polygraph exams administered were on the death of Lilly and Jack. It's still considered a missing person case. The pivot over to the crime investigation has not begun. I don't know how old these are, but I can tell you 100% certainty that is not true. And we've gotten that confirmed by RCMP saying, listen, we look at all of these cases as suspicious from the beginning until otherwise proven. So with RCMP statement, it contradicts this statement in its entirety. Yes and no. Some is to put pressure on the parties that may have involvement, but through that pressure, there is honestly like a truckload of gravel there is gold buried inside. That must have been to answer a question. I don't know. I'm just reading these in orders. I did message people that showed support, but it soon turned into people trying to extract information. Pretty keen. Why would somebody feel like somebody's trying to extract information if they've got nothing to extract? Interesting choice of words, no? I have never got gold when I had gravel delivered. Drippy Thopsicle. Yeah, I concur. I concur. I did message people that show, okay, but this whole thing trying to extract information, that's a little weird terminology. Daniel further says, I'm not sure if Malehya checked on the kids when making them absent, when marking them absent. I was asleep at 6:17. I don't believe that. I don't believe he was asleep at 6:17. Why? Because Janie's up. It sounds like at least Malehya's up if she's calling the children in at 6:17 in the morning as sick. Somebody was up. Somebody saw those children. And wasn't it Daniel that said he saw the children that morning? This whole thing about this is all to me a setup. That's why it's leading me to believe something truly happened to these children the night before, either late in the evening or into the early morning of this Friday morning, because everybody seems to be popping at 6 o'clock around this property, but all of a sudden Daniel is the only one that appears to be sleeping in the whole entire house, right? His mother's up moving about. Malehya's up moving about. Somebody had to call these children in. The children were clearly up moving about. Meadow's probably up crying, needing a bottle, a diaper change, and everything else. No? But out of all this chaos going around his house, he's asleep. He's able to sleep right on through it. All the squawking of the chickens outside. My neighbor's got chickens over. I think she's only got 2 chickens next door. And I'm telling you what, every blessed morning I wake up to a whole bunch of squawking. Not my favorite cup of tea. First thing in the morning, if I may say so myself. But, we deal. My ex-wife is trying to keep me from them. He's speaking of his other children. I would want to keep him away from them too. I can't speak too much on that because you're a drug addict. My mom takes it harder, but I tell her in time things will change, but time can't ever be reversed. Children don't get younger. So you can hear his mom's not doing well with this. And I think she's not, I don't think it has anything other than she's not doing well with keeping up the charade. I'm sure that older lady that we see, Janie, that likes to live a quiet life, God knows what she does in that quiet life, but she likes to have a quiet life. The guilt's probably killing her. She's probably really having a moral war going on in her, because these were innocent children. She obviously raised kids. They didn't die. So, she probably is feeling some type of way, and I'm sure she's very, very concerned about her son. I think anybody in this situation that would be in Janie's position, I'm sure, is probably at this point more concerned about their son and their son's future. Daniel says, shocked RCMP. So they're talking about when Malehya left. And he's saying the RCMP was shocked when she left. Shocked is the word he's using. She left right in front of major crime investigators too. She got cold feet. She got scared. We have a fight or flight mechanism in ourselves, and we already know which one worked in her. The flight. The only time your fight or flight mechanism is engaged is when you're in fear. What is she in fear for that she runs away from her children and never looks back? Doesn't sound like a good mom that didn't do anything to her children. She was hugging me and crying on my shoulder, then poof, she left. Did you know Malehya wanted to leave? Did you two have an argument the night before or that morning? No argument. That's not a perspective many have, though. That's a perspective many have, though. So he's saying there was no argument. There was no fighting that morning. Due to the high profile I have access is not a concern. Due to the high profile I have access is not a concern. The chances for exposure is career boosting. I have no idea what that means. Slow down the questions that would help. So it sounds like he must be in some type of chat. I already have access to the best lawyers. That pic going viral is from a year ago, and the black eye is a result of Lilly and Jack fighting over toys, which children do. I'm sitting here on my own free will, and the world doesn't see that or respect it. You're a tool. You're a frickin' methed out, seed out tool that likes to hit on kids. We got no respect for you, Daniel. You're not going to be able to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, okay? We just don't roll like that. CPS came to the house because school teachers were concerned with Lilly and Jack's behavior. Well, it's because when children are acting out in school, it's a direct result of the lifestyle they're living at home, especially in 6- and 4-year-old children. Just saying. They offered a support system to reach out to for their behavioral issues. They came from a trauma-filled home before me and right into a drug-filled home with you. Trolls are online, but my message inbox is all support. Well, that's because you're not getting messages from Bullhorn Betty. I don't have shit to say to you. I don't want you lying to me. Because once you lie to me and you're caught lying to me, then, the earth quakes and hell rises up. The judgment doesn't bother me. I have the understanding that humans judge everyone deserves the right to. Everyone deserves the right to. It's just on a worldwide scale. He says the judgment doesn't bother him. Then why is he always talking about what people think and feel if it doesn't bother him? People talk about me on a daily. It doesn't bother me. You know how we know it doesn't bother me? Because I don't spend my entire life talking about how something feels to me that doesn't bother me. It doesn't make sense. It's an oxymoron. He's an oxymoron. No, I work close with major crimes. They let me know information, but it's still limited. The last statement released by the RCMP, I knew in advance before the public. I appreciate the public's help. I truly do. The internet is a cruel place, though. Major Crimes urges me not to talk live. My story of events would sway too much pressure on individuals or parties involved.
You're a liar!
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
Warning, bullshit alert.
We are looking at the only people that have motive, means, and opportunity. And Daniel is one of those people. Plus, one slip up of evidence could harm the ongoing investigation. And I doubt they're giving him or funneling the information to him. They're probably funneling information to see how he reacts. Major crime only urges me not to engage in question concerning evidence. There's a mountain of evidence. We've already read that. Is this just repeats? I did over 30 on-camera interviews. Yes, and they all had slightly different statements. Me, Darren, and Mom are the only ones to speak out. Boom, boom. It sounds to me like Darren is working for him. Now we have the Darren. How is Darren involved? Me, Darren, and Mom are the only ones speaking out. Me, Darren, and Mom are the only ones speaking out. That sounds like running interference, driving a narrative. Come on, baby. Come. Thunder's not going to hurt us. The wind's not coming in. I promise you're not going to get attacked by the wind. Come on. Come. Everyone wants to see you. Oh, that's right. We don't have this camera on. Oh, let's put the camera on. There you go. Right there, guys. They're concocting the story. They're running the narrative. They're getting the people in place to run that narrative. Darren was a person that tried to run. Leave the wind alone. It's raining, guys. The wind's starting to whistle outside, and she's hearing the whistling that's driving her nuts. Me, Darren, and Mom are the only ones to speak out. Darren was working for her, running interference. I don't know how you can take this any other way. Betty and her buttons, you know it, baby. This mother I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Guys, does this not look a little odd to you? We know damn well Darren's statements were a bunch of rubbish. Slap rubbish. Slap rubbish. I'm First Nation, and a lot of us are pissed at them three. The community is not involved in the disappearance. We don't have underground to whisk. I never thought about. I never even considered it. I mean, granted, we sit here and say I'm unfamiliar with reservations and chiefs and stuff like that. We do have some here in Florida, but none that I have been directly related to. And then when I'm hearing all these rumors, I have to go to my logic and common sense. Would a chief act that way to the RCMP? And in my opinion, I don't see a chief acting like that. I'm sorry. They are respectable, and I have to look at them with respect, and I don't see respectable people doing disrespectful things. Could they? Of course they could. You rub anybody the wrong way, they might give you a little, a little rough ride, right? But this guy, Darren, was blowing slap smoke up our butt. And you know who was being blamed for that? Malehya. And now here we are, and we see the Three Musketeers running the misinformation and disinformation campaign right there. Right there. Just saying. That's some.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Just saying. Let's see what else this little. I have Malehya's court documents at the house from the custody battle with Cody. Malehya left all her belongings at the house. The documents say awful stuff about Cody. She walked away with nothing. She literally ran. She realized the shit was getting thick. They weren't believing her story, and she fled. That's what I'm seeing here. She left all her belongings. Remember, she didn't even come back to get her car. She just wanted out of there. That does not sound like a mother that's concerned for her kids. That sounds like a person that's concerned for their butts going to jail. I'm not going to release anything, but it's not right to do so. The Netflix thing was a joke based on ridiculousness of this case. It's supposed to be about two missing children, and the world is making up insane stories and accusations. I know I'm not allowed to make a joke, so I expect to be bashed. No, parents of missing children typically don't have things to joke about. They're too busy working to try to bring their child home, which neither of these idiots have even attempted to do. None of the idiots in this story have. And that includes the external family, the half-sister. Where's the search party's half-sister? Where's the search party best friend, Cheryl? Where's the search party, Darren, Janie? Where are they? Give me a break. No, the school didn't know how to deal with Jack and Lily. I don't think they have skills, training, and experience to properly deal with Lily and Jack. Maybe not quit beating on them. Maybe they might get a little better. My personal thoughts based on emails and phone calls. So obviously the kids were a pain in the ass, huh? Interesting. I mean, they were getting to their wits' end. They have a new baby. They got all these kids going crazy. School can't deal with them. They can't deal with them. They're getting black eyes, getting hurt. CPS is showing up at the house. We painting the right picture over here? I'm just making sure we got the picture right. Daniel, am I painting the right blessed picture over here on the Bullhorn Betty channel? Because these are all your blessed words. My personal thoughts based on emails and phone calls. No, you, Sam, just want others to have the same perspective you do. Your belief system doesn't take into account the data presented. No judge away, everyone has the right to. No judge away, everyone has the right to. Yes, the black eyes in the photo that's going viral was caused by Lily. I believe Jack and Lily are alive, hence the 100. I think we're going back through some of this stuff. Believe it or not, Lily had a black eye from Wednesday, 2 days before the disappearance. A Tonka truck swung up and hit her in the face at Patty's house. How does it swing up and hit her in the face? Listen to that. Swings up and hits her in the face. She pushed down on it when she was going around, when it was going around on the floor. So pushing down on a Tonka truck makes it pop up and hit you with such force that it creates a black eye? Like, I'm wanting somebody to take the freaking Tonka truck and smash it into my face. Not press it down on the ground and pop it up. Like, literally smack me in the head with it. I want to see if I get a black eye. The video of the apple picking is from last year. Wade filmed it, which is Cindy's boyfriend. No, you're lucky. Investigators hate me talking. Investigators hate. I'd like to sit you down for an interview and you answer some of my damn questions. If you're wanting to talk and they hate you talking, convince me. I'll be your fiercest advocate. And trust me, I have a big old bus, proverbial bus that runs these asshats on these streets over. Again and again, proven record of running these asshats over, right? So if you get me on your side, Daniel, I promise I will swing the bat as far and wide for you as I possibly can. But I'm reading your messages here, and I'm sorry. The first thing that comes to my mind is you are full of shit. Nothing more, nothing less. I think your opinions are limited on your perspective. The polygraph exam. Okay, we've got that one. Okay, I think we're back to the same. I think we're now back to, yes, we're full circle. We're full circle back. So there's all the text messages that I wanted to show you guys from earlier. And I'm sorry. I couldn't read your comments, guys. I'm sorry. I'll stay on here for about another few more minutes so I can get some comments. I'm going to go up and see if I can answer any of your questions. When I start going on a roll, it's kind of hard to stop. So I see you guys all in the chat. It's nice to see you this afternoon. Erna says, Betty, there was a kayak gone. I mean, you got question marks there, but it almost seems like a statement. I've never heard about a kayak. Does anybody know whether Daniel or Malehya own a kayak? Or if a kayak was there? Or if a kayak is missing? Somebody in the area might know. I know we got some people from Canada here in that local market, so hopefully. Daniel also says he has the best lawyers available to him. That's a strange statement to make. I don't expect parents to be calling. Who needs a flippin' attorney? Who cares what the public says? We don't go and get attorneys because public doesn't like you. We get attorneys when the shit gets deep. Just saying. So, I keep forgetting the beat button. Gets deep. I was going to say the same thing, BHB. 150 award is, let me read this from Drippy. 150 award in Nova Scotia is usually put out in criminal cases. Nothing has, because we're dealing with a criminal case. I think they knew that early on. I think you know what I think scared Malehya when she realized that the RCMP major crimes forensic unit was involved. Because if you remember, they were snuck in. Nobody knew that they were on scene. So they were kind of undercover or playing different type of officers and probably questioning them. And when she realized she was talking to a major guy, she probably scared her. She's probably scared half to death she's about to go to jail and lose her life. Be behind bars for the rest of her life. And I would be scared too, because let's face it, this story doesn't make sense. It's got holes in it. Nobody that was on that property will give us just a timeline, a legit timeline. You're going to get all those excuses. Well, law enforcement, this, I don't want to hear it. If you're here and you're wanting to find these children, give us a legit timeline so we can move past you and get to more important things. Do you want us off your crawl? You want us out of your, down your neck? Give us something to corroborate. Give us something to clear you publicly. And let's start focusing on who you say is the real person of interest here. Who is it? Malehya? Third party? Abductor? How much more defying of logic are we going to do in this case? There's motive, means, and opportunity. Nobody had the motives, means, or opportunity other than the 4 adults at that property. I don't see Janie being the person that's going to be creeping into somebody's house, snatching some kids, and throwing them out in the woods. Call me crazy. She just doesn't look like she's that type. But we are having those types of situations, or at least being brought to us. I mean, we're putting this stuff together that law enforcement's getting. I provide theories. We speculate, very limited over here. We do speculate, but we're not conspiracy theorists. We take the information that's readily available to us, the factual information that law enforcement gives us, the statements, the factual statements coming out of the parties' mouths, firsthand statements, and we formulate our assessment and our opinion based on actual factual information. Not hearsay, not somebody's opinion. We look at those things. We may opine on what the information means. But at the end of the day, this is looking terrible. And Janie, this is going to be for all the people that are supporting Malehya and Daniel. Listen, the way I look at this is the standard I took with Summer Wells' case. The reason why I never, ever wanted to have friendly conversations with Don or Kansas is because I never wanted to sit or support somebody that could potentially be a monster. That's one of the reasons why I never got involved with them. If they wanted to give me an interview, I was fine, but I was also fine doing my own thing without their involvement in it. I'll work, period. But at the end of the day, everybody knows Don and Candace have more information, just like everybody knows that Malehya and Daniel have more information. Janie, Haley, Logan, if you guys care at all about these children, you're going to put your personal opinions aside about Malehya and Daniel. And you're going to logically play this tape through because it comes down to motive, means, and opportunity. And if nobody else has the motive, means, or opportunity, you better look inward and you better look at Daniel and you better look at Malehya. And it's time for you guys to have a come to Jesus. You know better than anybody else whether either one of those are lying. I don't know whether they're lying because I wasn't raised with them. You know whether they're lying or not. If they're lying, hold them accountable and turn whatever you can over to law enforcement. These children deserve better. And I'm sorry, at this point, people need to be worrying about a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, not grown-ass adults that can't get their life together. And that's what we're dealing with here. 2 idiots that had babies, brought babies in this world, wants to act like they're not freaking adults with babies, ruin those babies' lives, and now the babies are missing. And everybody wants to pander to the 2 people that were responsible for the lifestyle? You've lost your ever-loving mind. You've lost your ever-loving mind. Now, granted, I'm from the United States. Maybe we're a little bit more brutal over here. Maybe that's it. Maybe America's just mean. But that's not okay for me. That's not okay for me. We know they're being deceptive. How do we know that they're being deceptive? Our first clue is the inconsistent statements. That's our first clue. The other things is actually piecemealing their story together. How can all that activity be going on in that one area, in that dirt, that paved dirt with rocks in it, but yet only one boot print surfaces? With Malehya standing there, Janie standing there, Daniel running through, acting like a crazed lunatic looking for the kids. But hey, it's just like this beam from above, this golden goose just going, oh, right? Here's a boot. Here's a boot print. All by itself out here with everybody walking all over it. But it stood up against all those footprints. You can't see anybody else's footprint, but you can surely see that boot print pretty well from those kids. Where's the other foot? Apparently, one of the children not only got a black eye, but lost an entire foot. Explain that to me. You can't. Those are the things that don't make sense. If you can't explain it, it doesn't make sense. It defies logic. All right, guys, I'm not going to beat your heads in any further. Thank you for coming and listening to me break down this case, break down the information. You guys do your own research. Do you agree with what I'm saying here? If so, pass this on. Pass this on, because we're going to keep breaking this case down. We're going to keep pointing out the obvious. Now, granted, I'm not as eloquent as the deception detective, okay? I don't have the pretty voice. I should call it a pretty voice. I don't have the soothing voice that the deception detective. It seems like everybody around here on these streets seems to have a more soothing voice than me. I think for the first time, I'm jelly. I don't think I've ever had this feeling before. Maybe I need to work on it. Nah. Me and you, it's unprofessional for me to respond to that comment, okay? It's unprofessional for me to respond to that comment. So we'll leave it in the professional alley, right? I got to work out of here on these streets. We don't want to get the name of a gaping lake, do we? We don't want Gaping Lake to be our name. I'm sorry, not sorry. I'd rather be single than be known on these streets as a gaping lake. Or being known to be in the backseat of a car in front of Chili's or behind Chili's or wherever the heck you two were doing your gaping lake crap. I'm just saying, just always things. I know. So you guys enjoy your view from your screens. I'm going to put my blinders on my screens, and we're just going to keep down this professional alley. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to stay down this professional alley. So, no comment. We don't get that very often here on the Horn Betty channel. All right, guys, you rock it out with the coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. Guys, tomorrow's going to be crazy for me. We're flying out. We're going to the Windy City, and we're going to go exploring because they get me for 3 hours and I get me for more. You like how that works out? So we'll be there very soon. God bless America. God bless America. Patty, thank you for the super sticker. God bless you, Melanie. You guys rock it out. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're doing a replay, don't forget to hit that thanks button. God bless. We'll see you soon. We'll see you on the flip side. I don't know when I'm coming live. If you guys see, come here. Well, if you want to come up here, say hi to everyone. Come on. They're not going to see you for a couple days. Come. Say hi. I love my mommy. It's time for her to take me out, so I'm going to keep kissing her until she gets off her bum and takes me outside so I can go play. All I want to do is play, and we've been in the house because it's been raining all day, so I just want to kiss her. I just bit your tongue. I was talking, and she went to stick her tongue. I bit the tip of her tongue. She didn't yelp. I didn't bite at that. I didn't mean to. I was just talking. She is a cutie pie. She's my BFF. She's my gal pal, right? We just kind of hang out. We go out and play ball every day. Oh, shit, I shouldn't have said that. She's going to pop out of my lap. BALL. We play BALL almost every day. Even this morning, I took her out before the rain came in and played ball. But I noticed that she will run herself slap silly. I told you about the heat exhaustion she went through. I don't do that again. So now that I know that she's willing to run herself slap into a heat exhaustion, I count how many laps she's allowed to run. And when she goes, sometimes she'll holler at me out there to throw the ball again, and I won't. I'll take it away from her, make her come in and get some water. And so she listens. You know, she's been doing really good, but we haven't had another scare like we had with her. So, but that's one thing. She loves BALL. Like, loves. You should hear her when she is, if you hear like in the morning show, if you hear closer to, you guys can't, because it's usually when she hears the outro going out, the one song that we go out on, when she hears that, she starts whimpering. She gets up, she starts whimpering. So the whole time I'm listening to that, she's like, and I'm like, you know what she wants? She wants you to get off the computer because after our show in the morning, she knows where we're going. And we always go just for a few minutes, not to get her too hot, but just to run out some of that extra energy. And so it's been raining all day. So she really wants to get out. So I think it just stopped raining. I'm going to see if we can take her out to the front yard and let her get some fresh air. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you guys learned something. Those messages, people are looking at those messages and they're reading them just like I'm reading them. And even though we can't see what he's responding to, specifically what questions he's actually responding to, we can hear the tone. And I'm sorry, it's all wrong. To me, it's all wrong. But go do your own research, check things out. If you guys see anything that you find interesting or want me to speak about on the show for a more engaged live, don't forget to send it to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. And, Snickers. Oh, Snickers. Oh, I still think we can, Snickers. I just realized we might have to postpone our Friday live. We'll see how well the internet is there when I get in on Thursday. We might have to post the live until Saturday at 8. I'll be back home by 8 o'clock on Saturday. So, hindsight, Mama Rissa, B. Betty, the real me too, Sonia. I need you guys, I don't know when I'm going to go live on Friday or Saturday. So please remind me tomorrow morning when I go live tomorrow night, when I get into my hotel to figure that out. Because once we get a live going, I'll be able to see if I can run a live with guests, because we're having a Friday show at 8 o'clock here that we've been waiting on all week. And, don't really want anything interfering. So hopefully we'll be able to get that. If I've got to turn off all the cameras just to get it to run through, thank you. Okay, perfect. But if I got to turn off everybody's camera just to make the interview, the live, and work for Friday at 8 where it's supposed to be, because we've already had it scheduled, then we'll figure it out. So that's really the only thing. But other than that, we're going to give our deposition. I've read the rules. It's going to be a 3-hour thing. And then we're off. We'll go do some things. We'll go shopping or go check out some events in the area. I should be wrapped up by 1 o'clock latest. And we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into. Who knows? We might be able to pick up a crime or two out there in Chicago. I mean, it's not like it should be too hard to find from what I hear. I don't know. I'm not a Chicagoan person. So there is that. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something, announce it for attention. See, she already knows. She already hears me say it, and she's already getting antsy and already starting to whimper. She ready to go, y'all.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.